Harriett Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and can I congratulate the honourable gentleman on securing this important urgent question and welcome the Minister to his new role. I'm never going to be able to rival him in terms of his literary quotations, though, but I do think that this cyber attack on Jaguar Land Rover is extremely concerning. It is a world-leading business, and the impact clearly on the business, the suppliers, the workers has been significant. And I hope that the whole House agrees that we must use the full force of the state to crack down on cyber criminals. So can the Minister, and I appreciate he is constrained in terms of what he can say, but can he inform us when the Government and the National Cyber Security Centre were informed of the attack? What kind of support is the Government and law enforcement agencies able to offer Jaguar Land Rover? Is there any assessment of how much longer the Government expects this disruption to continue, because it's really impacting the supply of vehicles? And this attack is just another in a series of attacks that have taken place against British brands, iconic institutions, and he says 40% of our businesses, including the attack earlier this year against Marks and Spencer's. So how is the Government acting to prevent future attacks? Can he elaborate on that? Has he identified who is responsible for this attack? Can he rule out this being a state-sponsored attack? And if the group responsible for the two attacks on Jaguar Land Rover and Marks and Spencer's are linked, what progress have law enforcement agencies made in pursuing them? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr Speaker, I'm not sure whether the Shadow Minister is in a new role. She's not, so I won't welcome her to her new role then. But I welcome her to the dispatch box nonetheless. She's asked a series of questions. I'll try and answer the ones that I can as precisely as possible. First of all, she asked when they were notified and when they were engaged. The NCSC have been engaged since last Wednesday, and we do have an undertaking that when people do get in touch with the NCSC, we will get into the response will be very immediate. Secondly, she asked what engagement there is from government. So obviously the primary engagement is through the NCSC, and they are fully engaged and devoted a team to the work there. It's also in the public domain, I think, that the ICO the Information Commissioner's Office were notified. That's not because I should clarify that JLR are certain that there has been a data breach, but they want to make sure that they've dotted every I and crossed every T, so that's why they've notified the Information Commissioner's Office, who are also engaged. She asked about a timeline about when we're going to get this resolved. I really wish I'd be able to provide that. I can't. And I think she will understand why. This is a very live situation. This has been ongoing for a week. I note the points that JLR have been making themselves. And as I say, there's going to be an invitation. I think my honourable friend should already have had one for all local MPs to a Q&A session on Friday morning, when they hope that they might be able to provide more information. One of the issues she asked was about what else we're doing. Well, one of the things that we did this summer was the Home Office did a consultation on our policy on ransomware, because obviously I'm not saying that is specifically in relation to this case. We don't know whether it is as yet. I'm not making coming to any foregone conclusions, but obviously that's one of the things that we need to address. And it was heartening to see the resolute support that there was from the vast majority of companies in the UK for our policy on ransomware. And one of the things, well, maybe we'll come on to that later. She asked, can I say who's responsible? No, I'm afraid I can't. I note what is in the public domain. I have no idea whether that is accurate or not, and I don't want to impede the investigation. She asked, is it state-sponsored? Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'm afraid I can neither confirm nor deny anything. And she asked furthermore whether this case was linked with that of M&S. Again, I can't answer that question as fulsomely as I would like to be able to, simply because I don't know, and I don't think anybody has come to any secure decisions on that. The one thing I would say is that, in one sense, all cyber attacks are linked, in that it's the same problem, which is a relatively new problem, though the previous government was seeking to tackle it, and we're seeking to tackle it in broadly the same way. Some of the techniques that are used are remarkably old-fashioned, like ringing up helplines, and of course helplines are designed to be helpful. And that's exactly the same as when News of the World was ringing up trying to get pins from mobile phone companies so as to hack other people's phones. That's an old technique. The new bit is that sometimes they use AI-generated voices, which are remarkably accurate and can lead to even further problems. I'm not saying that that is what happened in this case, but I'm just saying that some of the patterns of what is around are across the whole of the sector.